Hello, folks, and welcome to Ask Evelyn Live, where we answer your questions about garbage, recycling, compost, and other trashy topics. Welcome to this week's episode, which is Marie Can Do's and Don'ts. What to do with all that stuff that no longer sparks joy in your life, but just might spark some joy in somebody else's. I'm your host, Becca Fong, and I am the Recycling and Compost Outreach Manager, and I'm the one that helps people sort their stuff and hopefully in the process make a little less waste. And I am joined this week by my intrepid co-host, Pat. And one quick reminder as we get Pat logged on is that this show runs on your questions, and we totally love to hear from you. So you can drop us a note at Facebook or Twitter or on Instagram, or you can also send us an email at askevelyn@seattle.gov. All right, thanks. Hey, Pat, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing, Becca? Good to see you.
I'm doing great. So why don't you go ahead and jump in and introduce yourself for folks who don't know you and are new to the show?
Sure. So I'm Pat Kaufman. I'm the recycling program manager for the commercial sector at Seattle Public Utilities, helping businesses recycle and compost, reduce waste. That's what we do. So happy to be here. Thanks.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's jump right in. This week's question, I get to change it up a little bit and I get to read it, which is kind of fun. So
nice.
we have this question from Marco this week, and he says, "Hi, Evelyn. I've been cleaning out my place, and I've got a variety of things that I need to get rid of. I've got a kitchen table, a small love seat, and some random household things like books, dishes, and some towels. So what are my options? Bonus points if I don't have to go somewhere and drop things off."
Yeah.
So, Marco, you do have kind of a variety of things, and we do have quite a few options for you. So, quick answer. You got kind of three things you can look at. The first thing that we're always talking about is reuse is always a good option. So if you can donate or give it away locally, either through a Buy Nothing group, Offer Up,
right.
Craigslist, we'll talk more about that in a little bit. Two, we offer special item pickup for things like your kitchen table and your love seat. So we'll talk about that. And so you don't have to leave your house. That's the bonus points. And then three, household goods. So those books, those dishes, those towels, a lot of those things can be donated to local thrift stores. Excuse me. So now into the details. So Pat, you and I, we love to talk about kind of the best and highest use of things. And I think, you do a really good job of kind of explaining what that is. I just love that term, but it's a little wonky.
It is a little wonky, but the idea is the hierarchy, right? Reduce, reuse, recycle. That's kind of the classic 3-layer hierarchy. And so reuse is right in there, and it's really what we're talking about. The trigger for me on this is like, what is the item and where can I find the highest and best reuse function or utility or use out of it? So, dishes, for the example, just to kind of dive into the details here.
Yeah.
I think the thrift marketplace on dishes is a great way to donate, because if you think about, you want to get some used dishes, where do you think to go? You're not going to go to Craigslist or eBay or FreeCycle. You're going to go to a thrift store, Goodwill or someone like that.
Absolutely.
So you think about, where you might think to find a used item. That's a good direction to give yourself for where to donate the item.
Totally. Absolutely. Yeah. That's a great way to think about it. And we have talked about on previous shows kind of Buy Nothing or Offer Up or Craigslist. You and I kind of love that whole marketplace of reuse. Yeah. And so both Offer Up and Craigslist are online. They have huge free sections. I know that both of us have put things on the free section and they're gone like that. You will be amazed what people want and are looking for or didn't know they were looking for.
Yeah. So, the bulky items are best used for Craigslist or, FreeCycle or Buy Nothing, those kinds of things. Backyard barbecue. Someone's like, they don't use it much. They don't want it. They're moving, whatever. The bed frame, the bed itself, old couches, things like that. Those are better. Our thrift community, the industry of thrift, all the stores, whether it be the St. Vincent de Paul or Goodwill or, different places like that, they get a lot of furniture, a lot more than they can use. They really would prefer to not receive as much furniture as they get. And unfortunately, what they have to do, they have to discard it to landfill bound sometimes. If it's just not meeting the level of get on the floor, even for a thrift store, there's a threshold for what is good enough to go on the floor. And so they're tossing quite a bit of stuff. And that's why sometimes these reuse options online, you're posting a photo. If someone responds, they can see it right there. The the proof is in the pudding, as they say. It's right in front of your eyes. So if you want the couch with the stain on it, then you want the couch. So
Right.
that's a great option. And it's good. It's good to kind of set yourself up and get your presence in Craigslist, your whatever it is. I did it so long ago, I don't even remember how it works, but how you kind of create. You're like you just click in, and you can just post something really quick.
And your history,
exactly.
absolutely. So Marco, you wrote in. You've got a kitchen table and a love seat. If they're still in great condition, definitely go and look at some of those online options. And that's another great bonus. You wanted to say, if you didn't have to take it somewhere to drop it off, and that happens a lot with other customers where maybe you live in an apartment, you don't have regular access to a car. So Buy Nothing, or Craigslist or OfferUp, you can make those arrangements to do a contactless pickup and have somebody come to your place and come and get it, which is fantastic. That's kind of a win-win situation. Another option that we offer that's really great, I talked about our option number 2, is our special item pickup. And so for the love seat and the kitchen table, those are most likely to be a bulky item. It costs $30. If you live in a freestanding home or a single family resident, you would do that directly through the services portal, which is myutilities.seattle.gov. We'll put a link in the show notes so you guys can have easy access to that. Or if you live in an apartment building or a condo, you want to make sure you make arrangements with your property manager to be able to set up that service. But that's an awesome service that is just kind of on demand when you need it. And we will totally come and pick that up from your place, which is great.
The trick is that, you can't, if you're not the account holder, you don't have the account number for the site, even if you have your address and you live in an apartment, it has to be the account holder to set up a special item pickup.
Totally.
Because the charge will.
There is a charge. There's a $30 charge for an item like the kitchen table or the love seat that you've got. So those are really great things. And another thing that we did talk about a little bit, just to quickly review. So we've got kind of, best and highest use through reuse on online communities. So you can get kind of person-to-person contact. It's a great way to kind of meet other people in your neighborhood too. There's special item pickup, which is great. So you will put the link in our show notes so you can get onto the portal and check that out. Third option is our local. A lot of folks have had to change their operations due to COVID-19. And so you want to make sure to check out their hours to make sure that they're open. So those are really kind of your 3 options.
It was really stressful for a while when the drop-off stations and everything shut down for a time during COVID, initially last spring, summer, I would say. But now they're open and receiving. So a lot of these thrift operations are ready to receive. There could be a line. There could be a line of cars or, to get through to drop your things off. So you want to think about what time you go and stuff. But, but yeah, they take a lot of materials. And it's a different setup now. You offload your car into a cart is how it works. They don't come and grab things from your car. So it's a little different, but it's a good option, especially for the things that Marco had, like the textiles, the clothing, any kind of like bedding or things like that. They will do a full grading of it. They will, they have staff that are trained and dedicated to, all the socks go to one person and all the jeans go to another person. And these thrift companies, like especially Goodwill in particular, they are grading the different like condition and kind of marketability of the different materials, whether it be a cotton sheet or a pair of blue jeans. They may resell it online, or they may, what they call rag it out and put it in with a bunch of other fabric of the same variety and then broker that to the reuse marketplace in that respect. So it's textiles and clothing is the best option for that, in my opinion, unless it's a nice jacket you want to sell online, is to donate it through a thrift store.
Totally. So you've got some really good options, and thanks again, Marco, for writing to us, and we hope that other people benefit for this great question. I think we're kind of all in this spot. So we're at the part in our show where we talk to you about our weekly trash tip. And Marco, your question definitely made me think of kind of like, what would be a really good tip for people who've got all this extra stuff at their house? I mean, I got some extra stuff at my house. And my one weekly trash tip for you guys is to really resist the free pile. It's very tempting. I'm a person who does love a free pile, but really those are really hard to manage in the city. And oftentimes what happens, especially it's January, people, stuff you're putting out is going to get rained on. It's going to get scattered everywhere. Really think about the options that we put towards you in this episode to think about ways to get that person-to-person connection. So your goods are going to somebody and getting reused. So that's my weekly trash tip, is really to make that person-to-person connection. to get your stuff kind of into somebody else's hands, or at least to a point where it's going to be recycled.
And
So,
my
Pat,
weekly tip is about the joy of reducing your belongings. So this book, I know it's flipped on this, but it's the Marie Kondo book that everybody talks about if you haven't heard about it. And if you check this book out and have a look at it and read through it, it really, I mean, my wife and I have done it. My wife's a total organizer. She's really expert at this action, this practice. So what I find is that it really is like it's stress reducing to get rid of things you're not using anymore. You know that you haven't used it for years, and to be able to hand it off to an organization or a person who will make good use of it, that's a great feeling. And so she talks about in the book the joy of discarding things and relieving yourself of the burden of excess and ownership of things. So it's a good read, and my tip is to check it out.
Totally. And I think, thinking about the things that you really have and really enjoying those to the fullest, I think is a really, really great way to look at it. So I was kind of joking earlier. I was like, even if it's junk drawer number 1 you go through, it's helpful, right? And then it's just one more junk drawer you don't have to deal with. So, well, one other quick reminder before we wrap the show up, it is January, and we want to remind you, inclement weather is coming, and we would love to make sure we work super hard. Everybody does, to make sure that your services aren't interrupted, but make sure to sign up for Alert Seattle or the Recycle It app. And we will put those links in our show notes as well to get the most up-to-date information if there do happen to be service interruptions. That's the best way to be kept into the loop.
Because it's a sunshiny day right now, but I hear snow is in the forecast. Maybe not too much accumulation, but I know. That's a challenging thing for the garbage collection operation. But nonetheless, it's going to be in the forecast. If it isn't going to stick this week, then it might, yet this season. So get yourself set up so you know what to do on those things.
Absolutely. So we'll put links to those, to both Alert Seattle and then the Recycle It app, so you can download those and get the up-to-date information in our show notes. And with that, Thank you guys so much for joining us for another show. And remember, it is powered by your questions, and we'd love to hear from you. So please, please, please send us your questions, your thoughts, your random inquiries. We love them all. So, and with that, I'm Becca Fong. And remember, life's a little simpler with less stuff.
That's right. And I'm Pat Coffin. Remember to recycle right. We'll see you all next time.
All right. Take care. Have a great week.
You too. Bye-bye.